Did you get it? Is it on?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a championship edition of Taking Over the World
That
with
it
Ed
is.
and Aaron.
That it is.
Championship division. Here we go.
I'd like to show mine, but I don't have one.
No, why?
We didn't win.
Who'd you lose to?
Well, your team definitely won the championship. The team you sponsored won the championship, and it hasn't come without its complications.
Oh, very. Please elaborate on the
Well,
complications.
your associate that lives in my house,
Yes.
she's none too happy about the decision. Two things she's unhappy with you about.
Okay.
One, you don't have a giraffe tattoo yet.
Okay.
She's not happy about that.
Fair. I'll give her credit for that.
Two is you did a great thing for some young ladies by stepping in at the last minute and helping, out. And she was not so happy that your name in the Ogre Network was on another team's jersey. And so I told her, I said, listen, Brooklyn, like, Dad sponsored your team. Like, we have the Ogre Network and my name on ours. So Ed helped out and we got to say, she's like, no, unacceptable. I said, would you rather have his name than ours on it? She goes, no, I want both on ours. I said, so you want one team to have no sponsor and our team to have two? She said, yep. By the way, did Ed get his tattoo yet? That was our conversation. That's how she rolls.
Until you lost the championship.
Yeah.
Then how'd that conversation go?
Well, she was none too happy about it that night.
I
It
can
took her a day or so to come down. She's not a gracious loser. She's competitive. She's
I figured that would be just losing would hurt, but then losing to the team that I sponsored is even worse.
yeah. I mean, so
Because she's gonna associate with the teams as I sponsored it, and if I would have sponsored them, they would have won.
yeah. Well, next year apparently next season we're getting it on both. So
Okay.
yeah. So it is what it is. We move on to see another day. Now we just keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Yeah. And that's kind of the theme today. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Because here's the deal. My dad used to always have a saying in our old business. Sometimes you got to bless them and release them. Right? And we're getting to that point where, we want to be there for a lot of people, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And you got to be ready to move on for both sides. And maybe it's a good time, but
Right.
you've got to be continually moving in the direction we're trying to go and expand. We need people that have that same vision, and it's tough because it's not for everybody. And I still think people get into this industry not knowing how much it takes, right? They think, oh, I saw this on TV. Oh, I see paychecks. Oh, I see this. Yeah. Well, they don't come every Friday, and yeah, you got to work for them. They're like, oh, like God forbid, like people go to work 9 to 5, whatever it is, and you get paid for it. Like you can't just show up one day and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a real estate check. Like it doesn't work that way. You don't get paid for just showing up. You got to get paid for results.
Well, one of the things that I can totally understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is you join a team or you join a brokerage or you join something. I just had a conversation with somebody today, brand new agent, getting her license, right? And I'm like, okay. So we talked to her and we explained, I explained to her the Keller Williams and what we have to offer and training and all that stuff.
Sure.
And then she's like, oh, you know what? I really need the training. I really need to understand real estate. I really need to know like what's really going on in the real estate market, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, great. And then she's like, I got one more brokerage to interview. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Just for my personal knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
who are you interviewing? XYZ brokerage with 4 people in it.
Nice.
So how are you going to get the training that you want at a brokerage that doesn't have the ability to do that? Because the ability and the amount of training we can provide is not the same. So, I don't get it.
Well, and here's what it comes down to. We've talked about it before, is that, and it's easy to fall victim to the 1099 world, right? Because you are your own boss. You are your own accountability partner. And that's what teams bring, right? I came to you last week and, we've been having some calls within our team and, some coaching and stuff to try to, keep everybody on track and stuff. And, I came to you last week and I said, hey, one thing is what I need from you, right? I'm really good at organizing my calendar. I'm terrible at following through with it because I get squirrel syndrome, right? I'm like, oh, well, this looks like I need to do this now, or I should do this now, or I get distracted by this now, right? And that's what's hard about being in this industry is like, you've got to stay focused and you've got to put in the time like behind the scenes, and you got to you got to show up and you got to go to work. How many of the people you see struggling or, the market's tough or real estate's slow. I think the first question is like, how often do you check in with the office, or how often are you in the office? How often do you set yourself up to go to work? Like you go clock in at a 9 to 5. I mean, like, dude, you got to clock in and you are at your desk or you're doing whatever your position requires until like you're assigned break time.
Right.
Like here, it's like, yeah, well, I'm going to come in at 9. And you come in at 9 for a couple of days. Well, then you know what? Now I'm going to start going to, I got to get coffee in the morning at 9. I'll be in at 10. Well, now there's like this thing that I like to do, like this online learning I'm doing from 10 to 11. And people try to fill their day with so much busyness, not actual business. I think people get, enamored by the fact it's like, well, look how full my calendar is. Like, see all this stuff I'm doing, but is it producing any results? It's like, I think my analogy would be, we both love sports. It doesn't matter. Pick a sport, baseball, golf, right? Like if I wanted to be a golfer, right? And I just watched golf on TV all day, just like, I'm learning. Right. I'm learning, but I'm not going to the range. Right. Or, hey, now I've watched so much, I'm ready to go to the range, but then I never go play. Like you do all this stuff. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a timeline, like it's all for naught. You're just going through the motions, trying to convince yourself and rationalize to yourself, oh yeah, I'm doing what it takes.
Right. And I think that the problem is that a lot of people, right, and this is what I really don't get.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's people that, like, if you get into real estate and you decide I'm going to go all in on real estate, right? And some people have dual careers, some people can't or whatever, and I get all that. But if you're going to go in on real estate, if you say, okay, I'm all in on real estate, you don't do all the activities, you don't do everything you're supposed to, then you go get a real job. And then you almost make it feel like real estate is the reason that you had to go get a real job.
Right.
And it's not real estate, and it's not the market, and it's the fact that you didn't do what you were supposed to do.
It's the person in the mirror.
Right. You didn't do the activities that you needed to do to create the business that you needed to create to live the life you want to live.
Why do you think it is that people don't want to do the activities?
Because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like calling people is uncomfortable.
Right.
Door knocking is uncomfortable. Holding open houses. And the thing is that people, I think, get enamored with $1 Million Listing or Selling Sunset or all of these other shows, House Hunters or whatever you want to call it, whatever show you want to look at, House Flippers or whatever it is, and they see all the flexibility that these people have, right? And these people they're going out to dinner with friends or they're going out with clients and they do $1 million deal and all of a sudden they do $100 million deal and their commission is, $300,000. Great. How often do those deals come though?
Right.
I know an agent that just closed on a large land deal. And I was like, hey, congrats. And he tells me, yeah, 5 years coming. 5 years.
Yeah. And I think that's what those, I don't think as many people would tune into those shows. And listen, those people that are on the shows, and I'm going to say, I obviously, you don't know what goes into their daily life and things like that. But you do have to understand and probably make an assumption that the people that are successful are going through the activities daily, right? Like you don't end up, flipping all these houses and having all these problems. It's without doing in the work. They don't show that part of it because that's not what people want to see. People want to, they go to work every day. They don't want to come home and watch more people going to work. They want to see the sexy part of it. Like, oh, the transformation of, this house looked like it had been run over by a Mack truck, and they built it into this beautiful thing and sold it for 4 times what they bought it for. But nobody knows, like, how often are that, how many houses did they put offers in on? How many did they go see? How many deals did they lose money on?
Right.
How many, nights are they up worrying about, hey, is we only got $10,000 left in the budget, and I got to pick one of these things because the roof's messed up, the foundation's messed up. How do we get both of them covered? Like, nobody gets to see that side of it and the stresses of it. Everyone just looks at the glitz and glamour of it and gets enamored by that. And then they get in here and they're just like, cool, I'm going to do that too. It's like, it doesn't work that way.
I wish you did.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to just show up one day and just show houses all day and then do a $100 million deal and walk home.
Which is nice for some of the people that commit to real estate because it weeds out. That was like the whole NAR settlement, right? You go back to that. Everybody was freaking out about the NAR settlement and this and that. I think every time we talked, we were never really concerned about it. It's like listen, like there's a little bit different paperwork, and a little different process to it. But what it did do is like we were doing this stuff anyway. We knew we provided value and it hasn't changed. Listen, post NAR settlement, I've had the best start to the first half of the year that I've ever had. And we're in post NAR settlement, right? Last year, we did over $30 million. We had to deal with NAR settlement. And I think people always will use that as an excuse or this is why I can't do it or a crutch, right? But for us, it's like, great. You don't like it? Don't deal with it. Get out. Go do something else. Cool. That just leaves some more business for us, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what it boils down to, right? Is we do the activities. We are constantly talking to people. I spoke to a client yesterday, and we wrote an offer on a property, and the seller was like, "Yeah, I need you to change this, this, and this." And we're like, "Okay, right, whatever. We'll change those terms. We're not a big deal." We changed the terms. And he's like, "Oh, I need." The buyer's spouse to sign. Well, she's not going to sign because they have, terms and stuff, and it doesn't work. And all of a sudden, the deal went through. And yesterday I called them and I'm like, hey, they still want to buy and you still want to sell. So it's a good thing, right?
Right.
What is leading to this? Well, my attorney. Okay, so how about we schedule a call with your attorney? Well, I got to see what my attorney said. Okay. Let's figure out what he's trying to accomplish by having the spouse sign, because at the end of the day, the spouse doesn't have the money. He has the money. And there's a prenup, so she doesn't have to sign. And what is it that you want? What are you trying to accomplish? We got to figure out what the motivation is and what the response is going to be versus, oh, that's what you want. We're just going to do that.
Well, and I think that goes to the point. The biggest probably activity, job description that you could put that's a little bit more creative on top of real estate is you are a problem solver.
Right.
Right? Like that's where you excel. You thrive off chaos. I will go through my roller coaster of emotions when problems arise, right? I'm up, I'm down, I got it, I don't. Oh my God. Okay, right. Slow down, right? But I think you get a lot of people that they just freeze. Right? They freeze, they shut down, and they say, well, it's not going to work. Okay, why? Like you said, understanding the why. Why is it not working? Let's create a solution. That's what we're being paid for, right? Find a solution. We are presented with the problem in real estate. The problem is this seller needs to sell their home for whatever their reason is. And until we identify what that problem is and why that is, you can't solve their problem. A buyer, they got a problem. They need to buy a house.
Right.
How do we problem solve that? And I think people don't look at it that way. They just look at it, okay, you need to buy a house. Let me just set you up on a search. I'll show you 87 houses, and then you tell me if you like one, we'll put an offer in. If it works, it does. If not, we'll go look at more. Instead of trimming it down, doing all the legwork up front, showing them a few, and then working hard on getting that offer accepted. They're just like, oh, I wrote it, they didn't accept it. Okay, right. Let's figure out why they didn't accept it, because maybe there's still a deal to be done there, but we didn't do the right legwork up front to figure out what, like you said, everybody's motivation is. The seller's got motivation, the buyer's got motivation, and that's who we work for.
As long as we know everybody's motivation,
yeah.
We can solve the problem.
Right.
Right? And if we figure out what it is what's the outcome? What are they looking for as a successful outcome to their problem? So I don't know if I coined the phrase but I use it now all the time. I said it the other day and I thought I was pretty genius. Probably stole it from somebody. I don't know.
Oh, we're checking copyrights today.
I don't know. I don't know. But I could have stolen it from somebody.
Okay. There's
But-
the disclaimer.
But I was talking to somebody and they were giving me all the problems they were having.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave them solutions. And they kept coming up with new problems to my solutions. And I looked at them and I looked them in the eye and I said, you know what? You are a problem for every solution.
Oh.
And
They
there's
got,
some people-
I got 99 problems. That's what they.
And that's what I think is that some people just thrive off of being the problem to the solution. They really don't want a solution. What they're looking for is, how can I justify the victim mentality? How can I justify that it's not my fault because, oh, poor me, somebody's doing, it's somebody else's fault that this is happening to me, and not turn around and say, you know what, I'm the problem. I'm going to fix this. That reminds me, one of our first conversations when I took over the role now for the Market Center, as a team leader, I was on a Zoom call about results for the first quarter, and that was not my role for the first quarter, so
Right.
I have zero responsibility. So when it came up to talk about the Market Center I was at, they said, "Hey, these are your results. What do you think?" And I looked at them and I said, "Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to take one for the team. It was not my responsibility at the time because I wasn't in the position. But at this point, it really doesn't matter. They're my numbers. They come from my particular market center, so I have to take responsibility for the numbers the way they are.
Right.
Nothing I can do about it. I can just move forward and make sure to fix it. Versus trying to make 100 want to say, well, I wasn't here, or we had different this, and we had all. I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about any of that nonsense.
Everybody's got problems, and they don't want to hear yours.
They just want to see, how do we fix the problem? How do we get a solution to the answer? How do we know what you can do to fix the problem?
And you know what? And that goes right into real estate agents in general. What is the problem? The problem is you need to sell homes, whether the buying side or the listing side, to make a living.
Correct.
What is the solution?
Selling a home.
Yeah. Like you got it. Like we talked about this today. There's proven actions.
Right.
We know that. You and Gary Keller says it in his book. Like if you need to always be lead genning. And people
Your
don't.
only job is lead gen.
Yes.
Everything else is an effect of lead generation.
And you got people, and you see it all the time. Well, I'm not ready yet because I'm still working on my business card. Or I'll be ready for the listing presentation in like 2 weeks because I got to finish like doing my 18-point PowerPoint presentation. Like, nobody cares. Like, right? Like, at the end of the day, you are selling what you're capable of doing. Like, I was the same way when I first started. Like, I bought one of those freaking hole puncher binder things, and I'm rolling out, spiraling binders like, oh, dude, this is gangster. This presentation is so good. 90% of the time, you never even get to it because they don't care about that.
So
they want to know.
How many of those did you make?
Oh, shoot. I'll bet you I made, in probably the 6 months that I went hard on them, I'll bet you I made at least 50 of them. Dropping them off, or, like taking them in presentations, or I tried like throwing them in big manila envelopes, sending them to people's houses, thinking like, oh, they see a big manila. I'm like, they're probably going to open this, right? And then they probably saw it and threw it right in the trash. Right? Because I think that's the problem, is that I shouldn't say everybody, the real estate industry and agents are associated with soliciting and always me, not for the client.
Right.
And so when you come from all that stuff, you like it's like going, like you go way back in the day, right? At some point you had a first date with Mercy. At some point I had a first date with Andy.
Right.
And on that first date, do you walk in and you're just like, hey, listen, we're going to have some dinner. And if you like what I have to say, do you think, like I have the marriage certificate with me right now. Would you be willing to sign that? Like no, like get out of here, weirdo.
Right.
Right? Like, what are you doing? Like, no. And I think that's what everybody expects. Like they're going to make one phone call and they're going to sign the listing agreement. They're going to show them one piece of paper. It's like, this is a relationship driven industry. And sometimes that happens faster. Sometimes it takes a little longer.
Right.
And that's what people freak out. They want instant gratification. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll call today and, I'll get a couple of homes listed. And if they don't, it doesn't work. This doesn't work. Cold calling doesn't work. It doesn't work. I know people have been doing it for years, but it doesn't work. I did it today. I did it for like a half hour. I called like 30 people and talked to two, and they didn't want to sell. Like, I don't know why. I called them completely out of the blue, and like they didn't even want to sell their house. Like, that's crazy. Like, how dare them not want to sell the roof over their head when I called them out of the blue for no reason?
Yeah, God forbid.
It's like, then we're like, nope, see, it doesn't work. We put out one piece of video content. I'm a social media guru. This one piece of content is going to give, I'm a social media expert. It's going to give you so many pieces of business.
I do one open house, and I'm gonna create a video teaching program on how to do open houses.
Yes, is that people, and listen, I'm as guilty as anybody, like, because I'm an instant gratification person. It can be tough, but that's the thing. Like, what job do you go to that's not a little tough, that doesn't cause you a little stress? Like, if you want to go flip burgers at McDonald's, like, yeah, that's probably a little bit stress-free. You just keep flipping them over, and who cares? But
burned.
Somebody would find a problem with that too. Like,
you got to remember what comes with ketchup, mustard, pickles, diced onions. I think
they got the diagram in there somewhere. They got the diagram. You got the diagram.
Or they have the I've seen that, like, McDonald's has the gun. It has like all the
we are just making things as easy as possible for people. Squeeze
the gun.
Bun, patty, squeeze, top, go. And we're paying like $87 an hour for it nowadays.
And a Happy Meal costs you $2,200.
Seriously.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do that.
But
and and I look at these things, like, I look at all of this, right? And it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard the new problems with Soto?
No.
You know who Soto is.
I know who Soto is, bro.
It's baseball.
Bro. Don't ask.
How much did he sign for?
$492 billion. Yes, that's true. I don't know, something godly. What was he, like 700 million or something like that?
$750 million.
So dumb.
And he was actually questioned about his hustle. If I signed a contract for $700 million, $750 million, you'd have to chain me down to stop me from running. And I don't even like running.
Well, and
that if I get $700 million, I'm running as fast as I can everywhere.
Bro. I mean, here
and they're asking his hustle because he hit the green monster the other day, and he's just watching the ball go.
And here's the deal: is that people, there's the complacency issue, right? Once you get, that big contract, well, I got it now. I put it in cruise control. And I'm not saying he does, or hey, I got 2 big deals this year. I put it in cruise control. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to put yourself in those shoes. But if I'm getting $700 million, and again, it's hard to put yourself in those shoes. But I'm thinking like, dude, bro, I mean, I am running through walls. Like, I'm gonna and if somebody tells me, hey man, you gotta hustle. Yep, sounds good. Like, you just paid me $700 million. I guess I should probably listen to what you have to say.
You're the boss.
Yeah.
$700 million.
But what does it go back to? The 3-letter word that holds real estate.
Lego my ego?
Lego my ego. Get my ego out of my...
Check it at the door. Check it at the door.
Check it at the door, because everybody thinks they're better than what they are in sports and fitness and healthy eating and real estate. It's like, man, like and listen, I am, every time I talk about it, I think back to myself, like I could probably work 3 times harder. Right. And probably should.
Right.
And so it's like, it's not like I'm saying I'm trying to put myself on a podium here. Like, I think I could do more.
Right.
If I was more focused and got after it.
Right.
But it's that mindset that just kind of goes, okay, You know what the problem is. We go back to problem solving. Fix it. What's the solution? We'll do it. Commit to it. Be disciplined. Right? And that's what happens to the same people. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to work out. Lack of discipline. Lack of consistency. I'm going to be the best baseball player in the world. Well, when you take BP once a week and, you know, like you don't work on your fitness or getting stronger, that's going to be pretty hard.
It's going to be very hard. It's going to be very difficult to do what you need to do. But change the subject for a moment.
Ooh, dun dun dun.
My brother called me yesterday.
Ooh.
And he asked me the most random
To
question.
Hermano?
Me, Hermano, calls me and asks me the most random question. He's like, hey, when was the last time you did a colonoscopy? And I'm like, never.
Ooh, bro.
He's like, you got to go.
Gotta go.
Because he's already gone twice.
Yeah.
He's like, why is it you're not going? I'm like, well, I'm uninsured, so I don't want to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, I feel
Why
fine.
are you uninsured, bro? You gotta fix that.
No.
I feel like that's not a great
I'm
move.
healthy. I'm good.
I feel like that's not a great move.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's a perfect move.
I disagree.
You have insurance? You pay for private insurance?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yes.
How much does it cost you a month?
Oh, I don't know, like probably like $1,000 for the family.
But you guys are sickly people.
I
You always go to the doctor and stuff. I don't know.
No, we don't go too much. I did go last week though.
Did you?
I did.
What'd they say? Did you get your blood results back?
I did.
What'd they
Monday.
say?
Freaking healthy as a freaking stallion.
Now you're lying.
No, hogwash. Hogwash. No, said it was beautiful.
It's determined.
I even was told that the urine looks great. Yeah, I did urine sample.
Would you urine on him? You gave him a golden shower or what?
Easy, bro. Easy. I did the urine sample. I did the blood test.
So everything was perfect?
All things
Your
were.
test was perfect?
All
What
things
was
were
it?
great. The only thing I had was he said like there was some crystals or something. He said that could. He goes, if you had protein in your urine, I would be concerned. You don't. All your levels are perfect there. He goes, either it could have been caused from working out or strenuous activity.
You haven't done that in like 4 months.
Need a new doctor. Or he says, and I think this is probably the case. He goes, you need to drink more water.
That's probably
And
the
I
case.
said, okay, now we're getting somewhere because I always have water and I drink majority water. I just don't drink enough of it. But yeah, other than that, solid. Talked about the tea. Talked about the test.
What was it at?
Okay, this is a good subject. Ooh, okay.
Let's go. Let's get that number.
So what was it? What were we shooting for? What were you saying yours was at?
Well, mine was super low, so we're not going to go
Okay,
with mine.
okay.
But you should be somewhere 800 to 1,000.
No, you're hogwash. You don't know that.
No, you should be.
800 to 1,000, bro?
That's what normal is for like a 22, 23-year-old person.
I'm fact checking this because I don't think you're right.
Yeah, look it up.
Okay. We're gonna go to
Testosterone level.
as my kids would say, we're about to search this up.
Search this up.
Okay, testosterone
Level for a man in their 20s.
level. I'm not in my 20s, bro.
Well, that's where you need to be so you
We're
feel
just gonna
good.
call for an average male.
In their 20s. You don't want to be a 60-year-old.
Okay, fine.
Here we go.
Okay. For men in their listen, Google listen, the internet doesn't lie.
Go.
The internet is always undefeated.
No, it's not.
All right, let's see. For men in their 20s, a normal testosterone level generally falls between 300 and 1,000 nanograms.
300. Bro, if it's 300, you almost have zero.
I don't know what this means. It says
300 and zero.
Age 40 to 49, total T 252 to 916.
That's crazy. 252?
That's what it says.
252, you have zero testosterone. That's the same as zero.
I'm at 400.
Bro, you have to be. What did he say when you told him about going on TRT?
He said you could, like with the shots. Those are the
Yeah.
shots, right? He's like, yeah, you could. Then you got to kind of stay on them. I said you could go off them though, because I thought you could go. I thought you had to stay on them forever.
You do.
Yeah. So he says he does them.
He does them. Yeah, because he doesn't want to be at 400.
He's also like a jiu-jitsu.
But that's
freak.
why he doesn't want to be at 400.
So he started me on some supplements for it first. He's like, see how this goes
What did
first.
he give you? What did he give
I
you?
don't know what it says. I got it off Amazon. He says, go here, buy it. He goes, you buy this
Yeah,
stuff.
those
He
are
goes,
some-
this is where I started. He told me this. He gave me the exact thing on where he started. So
And he's on shots now. So you know what? How about we bypass the starting and go to the shots? How about we go to the shots and forget the
just go straight to the source.
Why are we going to start where you started if it didn't work for you?
Listen. This is like buying milk or buying the cow.
Like if it didn't work for you, why would you start there?
I guess he just wanted it higher, bro.
So no, you know what?
He says
It's
I think
another
his was like
copay.
around 800.
It's another 800 to 1,000 is what I said. He said 800. Of course he is, because that's the normal limit.
Hey, bro, I'm halfway there. I don't copay. My insurance covers it, bro.
You have to pay an office visit.
I didn't.
You didn't.
Nope.
All right, good. So he'll bill you now. And what did he tell you to go back in 2 months?
No. So come back whenever you want.
So then, how do you know what it gets to?
Well, I can go back and have it tested if I want to.
God, I'm having mine tested tomorrow. And if I'm not at 1,000, I'm going to double up my shots.
You're wild.
I'm going to double up.
You be out here running
Peter
through
did.
walls.
My buddy Peter did his. He was at 3,000.
That's wild. It's like Wolverine status or some shit.
That is Wolverine. That's Hulk. That's Hulk status.
But I'll tell you what, I always.
So he's like, "Oops, I gotta back off."
Oof. I blood work makes me nervous.
Does it?
Well, just because like family history, right? My dad passed from cancer and stuff, and so you're always like that. And I felt good because they're not like, hey, bro, you should probably come in real fast and bring like somebody. Like, is your wife available? Like, bring her with you. Like, that would. That's not great. That's not great.
You know what? It was funny because I was, like I said, I was talking to my brother, right? And you're a hypochondriac.
Oh yeah.
Right? And he's in the medical field, so he's a hypochondriac. Because I think everybody in the medical field, a lot of them are hypochondriacs because they see everything. Yeah. So they're always paranoid. I gotta get this test, that. So he tells me a bunch of things, and I look, and I'm talking to him, and I'm laughing, and he goes, "Why are you laughing, dude?" And I'm like, "Let's be real. I get why you are the way you are, because you're in the medical field and you see a lot of different things. So you're curious, like I am with real estate, right? You talk to me about real estate, and I'm like, yeah, don't worry about that. That's not a big deal because I do this for a living,
right?"
You medical, you're like the opposite. You're like, hey, you should get this tested. You should get that because you got to make sure and blah, blah, whatever. And we were talking about my brother. And I'm like, yeah, that SOB's afraid to die. That guy got a hang toenail and he's going to the doctor. Like, he doesn't want nothing. He's afraid to die. I said, luckily, I'm not afraid to die. I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid to die.
Oh, I'm both. Sign me up for both. I don't want to die and I'm afraid to die. I'm going to live to be 187. I'm going the whole works.
So we were laughing. He's like, okay, I get it that you're not afraid to die, but can you go get stuff tested? I'm like, I'm getting my blood work done this week. Relax.
Okay, well, we're going to have a conversation about this when it comes back.
When I come back, it's going to be like,
listen,
you are the Hulk. They're going to say, you know who the Hulk is? You know who Captain America is?
I think he's more of a Wolverine with his beard and this silver patch you got going.
Yeah. Well, it could be Wolverine.
So are we committed to this at this point? I mean, how are we feeling?
Actually,
have you found any like critters or anything in there yet? Do you find like crumbs, like leftover breakfast or anything in there?
No, I don't find leftover breakfast. But I do believe sometimes that, so I gotta when I go back to the doctor, because I am on TRT, I think that I'm breaking out, and that's one of the side effects. So that's why I grow this, so I don't have to shave, because I get little like breakout sessions, and I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But I'm not going to stop TRT, so I'll have to deal with the acne problem. Well, see, I'm going back. I'm reversing in time, dude. Going back to being a teenager. Go back to a teenager and have acne problems.
Wow,
not
bro.
like you with your 400. Yeah.
Don't hate.
I'm not.
We're gonna see. You know what? I'm gonna. How do I test? Do I have to go back to get blood work to test it? Is there like an at-home kit?
No, there is no.
Is this like the COVID tests were out? Like you could get an at-home kit?
Nope.
There's no at-home testosterone testing?
No, there's none. Because the only way to test it. But one of the bad things that you do have to do, you have to be careful with test, is the red blood cells, the hemoglobin. You have to be careful.
Okay. Mine were solid.
If you get too many of those, then you have to donate blood and do other things.
That's what he was telling me. Yeah.
But see, I'm on Hemoflow, which is a medication that helps reduce your red blood cells. See, because I study things, I look at things, I read things. I'm the master.
You just look at, bro. You look at pictures. You got a picture book on it, or watch the video. You didn't read nothing.
I did watch a video on it.
Yeah, exactly. Who are you trying to fool, bro?
All right, brother. So let's
I think you know what? I think either you at 3,000 or something.
I am not going to be at 3,000.
You're going to turn into Latimer from the program. That's what I'm going to have to worry about you. You don't give me that look. You don't know. You haven't seen Latimer in the program.
No.
I'm not gonna tell you about it. Okay. What I would like for you to do
Mm-hmm.
is when we're done, I need you to Google Latimer.
Latimer. Okay.
From the movie The Program.
You know who
And
died
that's
today?
going to be you in the parking lot at our brokerage.
I think Norm died today
Norm who?
from Cheers.
Norm from Cheers, huh? Where everybody knows your name?
Yeah, you know Norm.
Yeah.
There
Wasn't he
was-
the male guy?
He was the male guy, and he was the one that had the little skit going where he was talking always about the Bears.
The Bears, yeah. Yeah. Norm, okay.
He died today, 78 years old.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
78.
78.
Man, that doesn't feel like it's super old.
Well,
Natural causes?
I don't know.
Probably testosterone too high. he probably at 2000 wasn't paying attention.
No.
Sorry, Norm. R.I.P.
R.I.P., buddy.
Bad taste.
Very bad taste. But that's
Google,
okay.
Google Latimer from the program.
I will check out.
That's you in the brokerage parking lot.
I will put my ring back on.
I'm not kissing it either.
Oh.
I'm not kissing the ring. I'm not kissing
When
it.
I come back at 1,000, you're kissing this.
Get out of here.
Later, bro.